All right, so I'm back again. So FYI, the up high part that I pointed out a minute ago, here appears to be the other side of it, much more easy to see. I didn't see it coming down. The trail comes down here, so it's kind of up against that little bit of a ledge there. So the parts that you can get to, unfortunately, you may not be able to see it from this angle, but you can see railing there, and it's kind of behind these front rocks right here. I'll probably get a better angle once we get around to the other end, but there was something else very interesting down on the ground over here. So, as I said, I kind of came in ill-prepared without knowing a whole lot about what was going on. Of course, now I feel like an expert. I've done so much here in the Southwest. Oh, here's some, you can see like how high you have to get up there. You can see the balconies and or the rails and everything. We'll get a better view of those from the other side, I believe. So it's the places you can access are all behind these front row of rocks. So over here to my right, and you'll need to see the picture that I took from up above to get a better sense of this thing. This is like more of the traditional kind of, they call it Chacoan kind of structure. This is what I found a lot of at Chaco Canyon. There are kivas here, but it's just a very, very large structure. Very large structure with a big hollow. And it's hard to say if they just haven't excavated yet, because they tend to be leaving a lot of the sites alone now, it sounds like. Over here you can see there's still a Pueblo house up here. You can walk right up to that one. But as we walk along over here, they've not done any reconstruction on any of this, obviously. And I'm going to gather that there's a whole lot more under here. And the reason why I can safely say that is because I'm an expert now. I'm like an archaeologist. That is 100% a kiva. And again, if you don't remember what a kiva is a gathering area that used to be their home, and then it became a ritualistic spot for a small group of people, usually no more than 6 or 8. This is different than the ones at some of the other sites, because the other ones all had these, there's a name for them, I forget what it is, and there's 6 of them exactly. Very rarely 4, very rarely 8. 6 because there are 6 types of Puebloans, or there were back then. The hole down here is where the air would come in, and in the middle, they would have the hearth, and there'd be a hole in the ceiling above here that will let the smoke out. And there was usually what's called a deflector stone right here. So if you've seen some of my other stuff and wonder why there was a random stray flat rock sticking up, that's to distract the airflow so that it does not make the fire curl smoke all inside the house. As time went on, these became more ceremonial, and the current Puebloans actually still use kivas. And they're much larger. They're like gymnasium size now, where they still gather for their ceremonies, which is really neat. And they still actually do climb down into them from above. So this is all of this structure. Pretty doggone cool. Now, we're getting to a spot where you can see more of what I was talking about, where the national park is surprisingly allowing you to get into. And by the way, the park is closed, but you have access to the park until dusk. But you can see, so you'll be able to see my pictures, but all up in here, you can get in here. You can see a lady up there right now. Not sure if you can see any of the ladders from here. I think there's 2 or 3 of them that you can climb up into. Yeah, I can't really, oh, there's one. Now, they put these ladders up, of course, but these people would have probably used ladders just like this to get in and out of those holes. Now, before I finish up, as you can see, taking a look down this canyon, you see all kinds of these porous holes. And I can already tell you, newly minted archaeologist Jarvis, that these are the same things right here. You can tell they kind of hollowed them out or carved them out and made them more human size and more like windows. But for a little bit here, you're going to see this cliff is not nearly as hollowed out or porous anymore. It's going to become a little bit more flat and solid. But toward the beginning of this trail, and the only thing that gave me a hint of it at first, they have some spotting scopes set up by the visitor center that are pointed exactly at certain spots on this cliff face, and you can see that those are more of these little spots. I'm going to have to go and do a little research and figure out if these people actually use these spots for storage. Actually, that might be one of them right there. Yeah, I think I took a picture of that, and you could tell definitely that they've put brick in there, rock and adobe. Be interesting to know if this is where people did they actually sleep in these holes, or were they working in them? Did those holes exist at the same time as the big Pueblo structure that we just walked through? Here's another big kiva right here. And again, you can see there's an air hole right there. And you can see there's more stuff inside of this one. And that little hole right there in the middle, I forget what it's called, but that's actually important. That is essentially where their people come up from. They call it from the third world, I believe, to the fourth world. And then oddly enough, when they come up out of the kiva, they come up through another hole physically to get out. So real interesting, the culture found around here. I didn't know any of this stuff before this week. Like literally nothing. I knew there were people out here who used clay to make houses that they called adobo or adobe. I knew that much, and that was about it. But I'm like an expert now. So say hello to Dr. Jarvis, Indiana Jarvis even. All right, hope you enjoyed that and you learned something.